right, guys. I think we have almost everybody, so I'll get started here in just a second. Might be one or two stragglers. I'll raise some men in a second. All right, we'll get started. Courtney, you hanging out with us? Oh, perfect. Yeah. I didn't know. Do you want a picture of that? I don't know if you have your phone on you.
I have my phone.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Nope, all good. That's fine. All right, so we're talking hip mobility today. I don't know if any of you guys have been to any of my workshops where I know I see some familiar faces, but I'll try to get moving ASAP because I like to give you guys enough tools in your toolbox to try to implement, whether it's before workouts, after workouts. So we'll get into exercise here momentarily. But I do like to discuss too, like why we're doing what we're doing, so it makes a little bit more sense, and specifically how it applies to what we're doing in the gym. So a quick little like anatomy rundown. Our hips, obviously we know up through here. We have our thigh bone, which is also called our femur. That comes up, meets up with our pelvis. So our hip joint is really, really deep, kind of straight down from your groin. And then your pelvis meets up with your spine. So your hips drive your low back, because if these guys aren't moving, because of its connection to the pelvis connection to the low back can take the price for it. And it can do the same thing going down the chain. So if our hips, again, if they're tight in any way or they're not strong enough, it's going to have an impact in the knee and then the foot and the ankle, because it's all connected through there. And I see that a lot where patients come in, especially with back pain, and almost always I find issues with the hips, and a lot of times it's with mobility. So we'll cover things I see frequently in the clinic. If you are having hip pain and anything we do today, if it doesn't feel good, let me know and I'll try to show you a way to modify it or just stop. But yeah, none of these should hurt today, other than maybe some of the soft tissue that doesn't feel great, but it shouldn't be painful with the stretches. And then just some directional movements, so you know if I ever say a word, kind of what I'm talking about with your hip. So your hip needs to flex, which is coming up this way, that knee to chest, or kicking straight forward in front of your body. Extension is coming backwards. I tend to see more limitations in the extension, especially if we have jobs where we sit, because when we sit, our hips are flexed. We get really tight in the hip flexors, so then it's hard to extend. And that can make it challenging for the body to function efficiently with things like walking and especially running. Because if our hip can't come back far enough, our brain says, all right, low back, you have to extend to take over for that. And over time, that can become painful. Our hip also needs to abduct. That's abduction. So that's coming out to the side. And adduct. That's coming in towards the body. And then it needs to rotate. So this way, even though my foot's going in, this is external rotation of our hip. If you look at my thigh bone here, my femur, when I put my foot in, see how it rotates outwards? And then when my foot goes out, that's internal rotation of our hip. These two movements I see limitations in a lot, and especially with that external rotation, if our hips can't externally rotate, it's gonna limit our squat. Because as we're coming down, our hips also rotate outwards. And that's, I'll see people with issues where their knees kind of get stuck and they can't drive out enough, or I'll start to see more of this like hip hinge forward as well. So really important for the squat, and we're gonna give you a couple stretches today specifically for that rotation to help with movements like that in the gym. Cool, so we'll get right into some of this stuff. We're gonna start with 2 soft tissue exercises. We're gonna break this up. I have lacrosse balls, and then we're also gonna do some barbell stuff. So I'll grab some lacrosse balls. If we wanna grab maybe 4 or 5 of you, if there's enough barbells, grab a barbell. And then I have 5, so we can just split, Courtney. So we'll just do 5 on lacrosse balls.
So let me know if you
I think we're good. Thank you. All right. That's perfect. Perfect. Yeah, that would probably be easiest. All right, so for a lacrosse ball, I'll start passing these out too. If you guys with a lacrosse ball want to come up through here, I'm going to show this real quick and then I'll give this back to you. Can you see if there's one more in there? All right, so lacrosse ball on the floor. You can also do this against the wall. So if we have really, really tight hips or tight glutes, this feels a little too aggressive on the floor, stand up and do it against the wall. But taking this and putting it kind of, I'll stand so you can see me, we're gonna get on the side and we're also gonna get in the back. You can use a foam roll for this too if this is too aggressive. But coming through here, I like to keep my bottom leg a little bit on the straighter side and then I cross over the top. That way I have a little bit more control through here. And then I just start to sink down into it and then just a little, it's not as big of a movement as with a foam roll. And then you can slide one way, come the other way, go up and down a little bit. Again, this is a little, it's more on the aggressive side, but you have one. Does everybody have one? Oh, perfect, okay. So we'll do that with the lacrosse balls in a second. For the barbells, show you here. Again, we've done this in class before. This isn't new, but we're gonna get both the quads and the inner thighs. So we'll straighten out one leg, rolling those quads out. And I really want you to focus too, not only down by the knee, but getting up towards that hip and then turning your leg out and getting more on that inner thigh. So we're getting both the front and the side, and then you can also shift over and get that outer part. So barbells will do that. Lacrosse balls into the glutes, and then we'll switch. And with the lacrosse balls, you might want to also just feel it against the wall so you can feel that difference there. And get to start, yeah, so I'll get like in between here. And if you feel like you're pushing on a bone, slide up a little bit and then shift yourself back that way so you're more on the back side there. So you'll move the lacrosse ball and then kind of be a little bit more, whenever I get that, I'm more in this position here to roll that back side out. Yep. Just get those glutes to let go. Yeah. What do we think of these? Are these tolerable? Or is it a little too much for anybody? Yeah. I don't see too many pain faces. I'm kind of impressed. Emmett's over there just straight chilling. He's like, I'm good. And I would suggest about a minute or so on each segment. So for the lacrosse ball, about a minute on the side, a minute more on the back, and then switch to the other side, both the side and the back. And then the barbell, same thing, about a minute on each spot. And if there's a spot that's really sensitive with either one of these, just hang out there. It'll start to let go. I prefer this type of stuff if you're going to do it. Actually, you can go either before or after the workout. This one doesn't matter too much. If you have time and you get here early and you want to do, especially with the lacrosse ball, it's a little easier just to grab. Before it can be really good. Yeah. And then we'll switch. So when you're done with the barbell, we'll come over to this side, and then lacrosse ball will go to the other side. I don't know if you can see. I don't want it on the bone. I want you up here. Okay. Yeah, because there's your thigh comes up and then it turns in, and there's this bony part right there. I don't want you digging on that. Go just above it. So you should feel like you're sinking into muscle. Yeah, so when I get to the glute, again, I almost shift, so I'm back like this, and then roll on it that way. I personally like a lacrosse ball over a foam roll. Maybe I don't know. But I feel like it gets into like more specific spots. Yeah, the foam roll, especially through the hips. The foam roll is just a little too broad. Good over there, Gordon. Right? They're doing good. I agree. I feel like the quads, though, to roll with that, I feel like that's sometimes more painful than this. This is kind of like a hurt so good, whereas that's just like, yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we got some barbell fans and we got some lacrosse ball fans.
Put it right here.
Mixed bag here.
I would go. Ooh.
I know.
Are you ticklish or is that tight?
It's tight.
Holy crap! I don't know if I would do the lacrosse ball on the floor there. That might hurt.
I did it yesterday. It really hurts. Let me try. I don't care.
Try it. You might want to do that against the wall.
It's so tight and like so tight that it's ticklish, and that my back is the same way. It really hurts.
You should probably get that worked out.
I know.
You sound like one of us who are
like
like,
no, but I'm like the just ignore it and it'll be fine. Just keep
just keep
keep
lifting.
working out,
Just
yeah.
keep lifting.
Like, it'll be fine.
Eventually, it'll go away. If you feel like you're pushing on a bone, move up a little bit.
Oh, nice.
You can do it. You just keep that arm up. So like prop yourself up a little bit. So you're more like here, and then you can lift up slightly, and then just slowly ease into it. Who's more a fan of the lacrosse ball?
Lacrosse balls are always painful.
Lacrosse ball. Three. Barbell? Barbell? Yeah? All, Emmett's like all of the things. If it hurts, I'll take it. Are you lacrosse ball or barbell
Lacrosse
mesh?
ball.
Yeah, lacrosse ball? Okay.
Am I supposed to rotate this around?
Yeah. So when you go to your glute, instead of being on your side, just shift over a little bit. So you're more on that side. And you guys are also like, that's a pretty aggressive area. So when you're like this, you can lift yourself up a little bit. And again, like go against the wall if it's too aggressive, because that way you can just slightly lean into it and not put all your weight on it. It hurts so good. All right. If you haven't switched sides with whichever one you're on right now, switch and try the other side. And then we'll get into some stretches.
I don't think this side is.
Of course.
Wait, no. Or is it as bad?
I'd want to feel it too with you like not putting weight through it, because they fire a little bit to stabilize your pelvis. Yeah. We're going to give you the microphone just for all the sound effects. We're just going to come right up close.
Just for the background noise.
It's fine, team. And then when you guys are done, if you have a barbell, if you don't mind, just throw the barbell back, and then the cross balls we'll put back in here, and then we'll move on when everybody's done.
We're doing hips today, obviously, but do you guys ever do like a shoulder mobility thing?
That was last one. There's a video, yeah. That was the last one I
I
did.
watched the video. It's great.
I can't, if I'm laying flat down, I'll just show you. If I'm laying flat down, I can't
Me either.
Watch that video. Is it on the website? Do you know?
It's on Facebook.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because they put it as like the weekly video
If you go
one
back
week.
on
But
Sugar Wad last week. It's posted in the announcement.
yeah, that would be a really good one.
It's on YouTube, but I think it's all those are like unlisted, so you can't.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Do you have a lacrosse ball? No. I thought you were trying to hand me something. I'm sorry.
This feels so much better.
All right, so that's the soft tissue. And again, keep in mind, like the stuff I'm giving you, there are many ways we can open up the hips and a lot of different stretches. I just picked a couple that I use in the clinic a lot that I find to be a little bit more on the like relieving side for people. So if something doesn't work for you, there's a billion others that we can do. All right, so the first one, I have just a split stance hip flexor stretch. There's two ways you can do this. Split stance just means this position. This is really good. If you have a job where you sit at a desk a lot, stand up and open up that hip. Again, when we're sitting, our hips are flexed. We need them to extend. So from here, and I don't want to see you leaning back too much. Think of tucking your butt under you and then slightly leaning forward. So this back leg stays straight. The other way you can do this is in a half kneeling position, which is down like this. Again, slight tucking the butt under you, lean forward, and then I like to add in a little bit of a side stretch too. So try both of those and see which one feels better to you. If you don't feel a stretch, let me know.
Where are we supposed to feel a stretch right there?
Up and through here. Straighten your back leg. Instead of like a lunge, think of keeping it straight and then shift forward, and you should feel up through there. Turn your toe in a little bit. Yep. And then it's some people for this one, they feel it a little bit different if they're half kneeling. Yeah. Or if the calf's tight enough, you'll get it in the calf. Bring your shoulders, so right now you're leaning a little more forward though, bring them up some so you're thinking tall. So don't go so much that you're leaning back, but think of getting taller and then kind of shifting more weight onto that front foot too. And I put on there, I think I put a time. I did 1 to 2 minutes on each side. I also just like breathing with stretches. So like 8 to 10 deep breaths instead of a time is fine. And even if you just stand up, again, if you have a sitting job, even if you just stand up and stand in this position, whether you're feeling a stretch or not, that's gonna open up that hip. So throughout the day, that's really good to do.
It's like you're tilting your pelvis forward.
Slightly tucking your butt under, because that helps pull those muscles a little tight. And don't be aggressive with this. As soon as you start to feel a little stretch, stop there. Don't crank into it more and more and more. And then once you try the standing one on both sides, feel the half kneeling one too. Yep, and then from there you just shift forward, feel a little stretch, and then you can add in that side bend. And just go your left hand, yep. So the leg that's down, that's the one that you want to reach over. So glad you came, Courtney. You did this one. I know, that's what I said. We just need the Courtney sound effects. Solid.
Sounds to expect while you're stretching. See, this is different.
And that would be a better one. Again, some people feel a little bit more standing and some people it's more half kneeling. Cool.
How often would you suggest doing this throughout the day if we do have a sedentary job?
Frequently. I tell my patients, I tell my patients, if you have a job where you're sitting, stand up at least every hour. Now, whether or not you do this stretch every hour, even if you get this stretch in like 3 times a day, that's fine, but I want you standing more frequently than that.
I was standing desk at home, but I'm not home every day, so.
And again, when you're standing, if you're like, I don't have time to like stop my work and go into that position, even if you just stand in this split stance and then work like that and then switch to the other side, even if it might not feel like an aggressive stretch, it's still opening the hip up. So that in and of itself is really good to do. And then you can just add this in like 2 to 3 times a day if you sit a lot. All right, so that's the first one. The second one, world's greatest stretch. We do this a lot in warm-ups. They call it Spider-Man stretch in that one. But we're just gonna stay in one position. So the foot that's forward, that hand, the opposite hand goes down, and then we're gonna try to take this elbow as close towards the ground as we can, and then up towards the ceiling. Down, up. Let's do 10 on one side, and then we'll flip and do 10 on the other. Make sure when you're doing that, this knee, don't let it collapse in. Think of driving that out, but not letting the foot roll. That'll open those hips up for those squats. Gets the upper back moving. Oh, it's the best one.
Not really, but okay.
It'll become comfortable the more you do it. And you can do two options here. You can either, like Courtney has her back knee touching the ground, or like Kelly, how she has her knee floating. Either one, it's kind of personal preference. I like when with my back knee, I kind of like it resting because I feel like I can just get into the stretch a little bit more. But this might open up the hip a little more as well when you have that knee floating off the ground. And if your elbow doesn't touch currently to the ground, keep working on this. It does loosen up. You'll get there.
So you're saying that we should be touching?
I wouldn't say that's like the ultimate goal, no.
No.
But you will notice improvements with it, especially as everything opens up. And this hits your hips, your upper back, your shoulders, all of that. You can get tightness in the hamstring too. Yep. Yep. That can happen. That's why it's called world's greatest stretch. Hits all the things. Okay. Next one. Let's grab, you know what, I might, no, let's do that one. If we can get, actually, Kel, can you demo for them? I'll get some kettlebells and then we'll split. So let's do that one. And then can you show couch stretch?
Yeah.
And what I typically, or no, you show the half kneeling one with the kettlebell. I'll
Okay.
show the couch stretch.
Sounds good.
All right, so we'll split this up again.
All right.
First one that we'll do, we call this a couch stretch. Again, things we've done at the end of class before. So we'll take an ab mat and kind of go along the wall here. Get one foot up on the wall, the other down on this mat. The closer you are to the wall, the more aggressive this stretch is. So if it's too much, slide the mat out and then do that. We call it a couch stretch because at home, you can go on your couch. I'll show you with a bench here. Same thing, you put your foot up and then come down into that stretch. So easy way to do that at home. So half of us will do that. And then the other half, perfect, thank you guys. We'll do a half kneeling. This is one of my favorites to do before squat day. So we're gonna do this half kneeling position, but one foot's gonna be out to the side. With this, I want your knee to stay out this way. So if you find that your foot's back here and your knee's in here and you can't push it out, move your foot further forward. And then your chest is gonna stay facing forward. We'll hold a kettlebell here, and then we're gonna shift to that side and come back. Shift, come back. And you should feel a really good stretch in through there. Again, we're opening up those hips. If you turn, you'll feel you lose that stretch. So stay forward and then shift out and come back. So.
Our heels, should we also shift kind of like what you just did?
Yeah, I was too close. I felt like I couldn't get into it, so I shifted out. Yeah, you shouldn't feel like your ankle mobility here is limiting your stretch. So if you get to a point you can't go any further because your heel is coming up, then just like you said, move it out a little bit so you can shift over. That was a great question. Awesome, thanks for grabbing this, Kel.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have 3 mats there. Yeah, you can, wherever you guys want to find a wall. And then some of you guys can grab the kettlebell and try the other one. And then we'll flip-flop again.
There's
The couch stretch, again, you can either hold it for a certain length of time or do like 10-ish deep breaths. And try to stay tall with it. If you can't get tall, then slide your knee out a little bit further from the wall. Yep. And then just let that weight hang down.
Are we supposed to be feeling this like in the day?
Yep. Again, if there's a lot of squats programmed in, do this one. If it hurts your knee, the knee that's down, you can grab an ab mat too. I'll chuck some around. If you guys want one for that other knee. Of course. And about 10 or so on one side with the shifts and then 10 on the other side. And then about 10 deep breaths with the couch stretch and then switch to that other side, or about a minute, somewhere in that time frame. And then once you're done, you can switch to the next. Emma, try to turn your chest a smidge more that way, and then drive that, yes. Now shift over. A little more of a stretch. Yeah, that's okay. Don't have to be far. And you could even keep that there, but turn your chest a smidge more towards me. And then maybe even bring your foot towards me a little bit. Yep, and then from there, drive that out, and now shift over. There you go. You were starting to turn a little bit into it. Again, that you'll just lose the stretch with that. Can you guys feel how this could help before squats with the kettlebell? It just opens that up. And then whenever you're done, if you had a kettlebell, you can just put that back on the shelf over here in the rack. Or you know what? Hold on, take that back. You can hold on to that. Hold on to the kettlebells. I changed my mind. Sorry. We'll do these two, lateral squat, kickstand, reach down, and then we'll do the banded stuff. So when you guys are done, you can just stand up from there. All right, so next one, a lateral squat. I'm gonna do this with a weight, but you can do this just body weight, especially if you just got to the gym, you're not warm yet. I wouldn't grab a weight and do this. But a lighter weight, so one of the lighter kettlebells, grab a dumbbell, but we're gonna hold it goblet just in the front of our chest. Nice wide stance. And then you're gonna shift over as low as you can go. Then from there, instead of coming back up, why don't we shift back to the other side, back and forth, and see if you can start to sink lower and lower into that lateral squat. Okay, and that's gonna really open up the inner thighs. So the one that we did the half kneeling, a little bit more in the groin, this should feel more on the thigh, okay? So feel those out. Either grab a kettlebell or a dumbbell. Got a couple kettlebells around. And after about, if you guys are counting, maybe like 16 to 20 total, you can try to sink down as low as you can each one. And take a minute to pause. So when you go back over to one side, pause, deep breath in, exhale, and see if on that exhale you can sink a little bit more. Good stretch? Yeah.
It's been sore for like months. So I stretch it all the time.
Yeah.
Like it can't be a groin pull because I wouldn't be able to do all this, but like, I don't know, I'm 54 too, so it might just be it's not healing yet.
I would add into a little bit of like a little more strengthening and activation to it.
Yeah.
So taking a band, putting it around the rig, putting the band around that. It's your left one. So putting it around your left ankle so the band's there, and then pulling that foot
Pull it
in.
now. Okay.
That one, and then even taking like an ab mat or a ball if you have at home or like something, put it in between your knees, go on your back, squeeze that, and then lift your butt up to do a bridge, and then come back
I'll
down.
get your like information. So I'll
Yeah,
come
yeah,
see you.
yeah.
'Cause my shoulders kill me too. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Of course. What do we think? Feeling loosey-goosey? All right, cool. So, next one, we call it a kickstand reach down. You can put your foot against either wall, a bench, it doesn't matter. I'll show you against the plates here. So, kickstand meaning this foot's back here, just for balance. All of my weight is on my front leg. And then I want you to think of doing a single leg deadlift. So we're gonna hinge forward, but as I do that, I'm going to turn my chest just slightly towards the leg that's forward. And then as I come up, I'm gonna turn out of it. Down, up. You can do this with or without a weight. Obviously a weight's gonna load it up a little bit more. It'll open up the hip. You might, if the hip's tight enough, you might feel a little stretch in your back pocket on that leg that's forward. So again, it's down, slightly turn. I don't want to do a drastic full turn here. It's just a slight little turn in and then turn back out. That's working on that hip internal and external rotation that we talked about. So find any spot you want. Again, you can even go against a bench, or you could just put your foot back like this and have that for balance. Let that knee bend a smidge more. Yep. About 8 to 10 on each side. If it feels okay on your back, let your knee bend like the teeniest bit more so you get like right over your ankle. There you go. Yep. And then back up. How's that feel? Good with this one? Feel good? Yeah. Do you get a little stretch in like the back pocket area? Yeah. How's this one? Feel good?
So, the big problem is, especially a weighted squat, is I don't track down straight. I go to the side, and then I like strip her to the side, and Ryan's like, what are you doing right there?
So I'd have to look at a lot of things. I see that a lot though, and it's usually when, again, one hip, it can't rotate outwards. So what happens is as you're coming down, one hip says we can move this way and the other says we can't. So it'll start to pull you.
Okay.
And then again, to get out of it, you almost have to like do that shimmy around it. I see that all the time. Or you just get this like little boop.
Yeah.
So the half kneeling one that we did with that lateral shift, did one feel tighter than the other? Or did those feel okay?
No, they both like feel the
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
That one and this one, because again, I'd have to look at it, but I see it both tight from this external rotation, and I also see that happen when you can't shift back into one back pocket. So if we get kind of stuck here, as we're coming down, the hip says we can't go back anymore, we're gonna stay forward, and then you'll get this twist.
Okay.
But that one's really good to open that up. And actually the next two we're gonna do too would be great for you. What do we think? Do you feel a little stretch or not so much? A little booty stretch? Cool. All right, so the last two will be with bands. Let's anchor some of these around the rig. And you know what, Kelly, could you put maybe one on that one, on the bottom part? Oh boy. And then one, like two here.
Right, yeah.
There you go. Thank you. All right, so if everybody wants to grab a band, oh boy, I'm just gonna throw these, and then grab a band, and then anchor it around the rig, and then I'll show you what I wanna do. I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of the way. Grab these guys out of the way. And we have some over here too. All right, I'll show you guys what I want you to do. Two different things. The first one's gonna be a 90-90 stretch with this band. Before we do that, I wanna do a 90-90, what we call a shin box. And if you guys can't hear me, let me know. We're gonna go, if you need your hands back here for a little bit of support, that's fine. If you don't, bring them up. But I want you to go side to side, 10 times total, get the hips rotating. Then, and I'll talk you through this again as you're doing it. We're gonna go into this 90-90 position. You're gonna slide back, so you're pretty far away from this. And then you're gonna let this band pull you and then come back out of it. So it's gonna open up that back pocket, okay? So here and back up. So first thing, 90-90 flips, that shin box, and then I'll review this one again, doing that pull. If it's tight enough, you will. And as you do more and more of this stuff and build it into a routine, it does get better. And after about 10 total, we'll all, wherever your band is, we'll go to a band. Jenny, switch your arm. So bring this foot more like that arm on the band. Yep. And then from there, let that pull you so it almost gets this too. Huh? Yeah. So when you're facing the band, yep, that leg's forward, and then your left arm is going to be on the band. And you might even want to angle yourself so you can come back here a little bit, because you want to feel like it really pulls you the whole time. If you get to a point where you lose tension, you're not far enough back. Could you hear that? So I would shimmy this way because you want that band tight the whole time. Yeah. So when you go to lean forward, if that band loses tension, you need to scooch back further. So I would probably go that way. Yeah, you want to be really far back because when you reach, you shouldn't lose tension. Yep, and then let that just gently pull you into that stretch and then come back out of it. If it feels okay, scooch this way so there's more tension in the band. Away, like back through here. So that way when you're reaching, you shouldn't feel a loss of tension. You should feel it pulling you the whole time. About 10 on each side. If it feels really good and you just want to hold that stretch for a couple seconds each time. Again, you should feel the leg that's forward, that back pocket. Sometimes you'll even feel it into like the hamstring area. And Courtney, you'll feel too, if you feel a good stretch, keep it here, but if you move that foot slightly further this way, you'll probably get more of a stretch. So it'll be a little less bend in the knee, like that. Now go. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no,
so
that's hitting my knee.
Then put it back in. It shouldn't hurt the knee though.
It doesn't hurt, I know. Well, both my knees, like I can't do pigeon anymore because both my knees.
Okay, yeah. Then
But
this shouldn't hurt, so bend it back a little bit. There you go.
But the goal would be to get more here.
I just want you feeling a good stretch. So if you go out here, I don't like to say it's the goal because I don't want you forcing yourself into something that's torquing the knee and it hurts. So if you come out through here and you can do that without knee pain, great. If not, just put a little bit more bend in it.
If it feels fine here to like sit here like this, so I could do that.
That's fine.
But like bend
That further. It's just when the hip's tight enough, it'll put torsion on the knee. That's what you're feeling. Yeah. Yeah. These are good for you. And then switch if you haven't already switched. So you'll have to face the other way. I don't want to say it's bad, but I think we could probably adjust it for you.
Whenever I sit on the right side, I felt it more like here.
Again, if you're tighter in one area, you're going to feel more of the stretch there. You could, I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference for you.
Because it's supposed to be like right up through here, right?
This one.
Well, yeah, but like I can't do that, but it's supposed to be right here.
Oh, yeah. Yep, but on that side. Yep. when you guys are done that, we have one more I'll show you. Does that feel any different, Court? That side? Yeah. You look like you have more movement on this side.
Now I can feel the back pocket like popping.
In the right side? Or, yeah, on your right side, yeah.
I'll listen.
The next one, basically, you said you might not want to do the next one.
Okay.
Because it's pigeon. So last one is a pigeon stretch, but we're going to add a band to it. So I'll show you guys here so everybody can see me. All right, so I want this around your leg, and it's going to come all the way up on your thigh. It's going to be on the leg that's closest to the rig. And then we're going to step out, and then this is the leg that's going to go forward. So that leg's going to come here, slide the other leg back, and then just sink down into that. So you want to be slightly in front of where that band is. I don't want you quite at the level of it, so scooch up, come out here. That's going to help pull the hip joint that way. And then for some people, they get enough stretch when their hands are up. For others, you want to sink down. If you collapse your spine though, you're going to lose the stretch. So think of keeping your back a little flatter and then just start to sink your chest down. And you can, if that's not enough, I don't have enough mobility to really demonstrate this, but you can bring your foot out more and that will give you more of a stretch. So try that one. I didn't think this through with spacing. Sorry, guys. Here, let me move this kettlebell out of your way.
Back flat, that makes sense.
I'm
Because like
sorry.
in class, no, when you said keep your back straight, because in class, at the end when I do it, I probably do fold my back, kind of.
Do you lose the stretch away? Yeah.
Yeah, like we do that at the end of class. You know?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, do you keep your back flat with those? Same thing with that
Well, it
90-90.
makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you just hinge at your hip and it gets
it's
you.
never new, though, yeah.
Yep.
That's good class.
Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you.
So through like here, we just get your email and shoot you an email if you want to come and make an appointment just for like my shoulder. Or
I
whatever.
would call
Okay.
rather than send me an email.
Okay.
So Rehab to Reform, I'm at the Frederick location.
Okay.
I am going to be splitting my time in the near future between Leesburg, I'm opening that clinic, and Frederick.
Okay.
So if you call over there, if I don't have anything,
What's your name?
Kelly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But we have
Other-
several PTs over there, and
Okay,
they're all
cool.
fantastic.
Okay.
What's your name again?
I'm Jim.
Jim.
Yep.
And I'll keep a lookout for you too. And you can shoot me an email as well.
Okay, that's cool. I'll call and say
but
like
yeah.
from me or whatever. Okay,
Yep,
cool.
yep, they'll be able to get you,
Thank you
no
so much
problem.
for everything.
They know I do these workshops,
All right,
so
cool.
they're
Thank you
prepared.
very
Yeah,
much.
you're so nice. You're so welcome, Jim. Nice meeting you. What do we think? Ooh, nah, not on the left side for you? Yeah, too much on the knee? Yeah, don't push that one.
Easier, but I have to keep my foot in really close. Like I can't go out here because then I lose it on hip and I just feel it in my knee.
I would focus on the half kneeling with the kettlebell and the
Yeah,
kickstand
that
reach
one's
down.
good. Yeah.
Those
That one
two.
is really good, too.
Yep, that's gonna allow you to get into that, but without putting too much torque on your knee. Yeah.
Yeah. I would never be, well, I don't want to say never, but it's going to take me a long time.
And when you guys feel like you're stretched out there, you can come on up. We'll take the bands off. you came, Jacob. It's nice meeting you. Awesome. Well, I hope this was helpful. Questions about anything, concerns? Okay, awesome. And again, this video will be posted. And then if you didn't already and you want to take a picture of my sheet, again, we went through everything there, you're welcome to do so. Cool? Thank you guys. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks.